Today's episode is also brought to you by Team Limited. They are a sector-leading commercial building, glazing and roof maintenance specialists.
Team Limited brings years of expertise to commercial buildings, serving as the go-to specialists, a trusted partner for building maintenance solutions. Connect with them at 0333 241 2689 or www.team-limited.com. Well, this episode of Let Me Be Frank podcast is brought to you in association with Glenifer Carpets and Upholstery Cleaners. They are a local family-owned carpet cleaning business covering the Central Belt. They're a premier choice for homeowners and businesses alike, including hotels, golf clubs, restaurants, pubs and letting agents who are in need of dependable, trustworthy, uniformed professionals. Frank, carpets, you must have had a few carpets over the years.
I have a couple of shag piles, but I won't go into my personal life. And your carpet needs cleaned. Get it done with this mob.
If it's a clean carpet you want, your carpet is never clean until Willie's been. Remember that at Glenifer. And if you want a 10% discount, just let them know that you saw the advert in the Let Me Be Frank podcast and you'll get a 10% discount. And we're back with another episode of Let Me Be Frank podcast with myself, Simon Houston, the man himself, Frank McAvennie.
How you doing?
And we've got something really special for you this week because we're taking a wee break from football. But as everyone knows, the Ryder Cup is almost upon us. We have Scottish European golfing royalty with us today. He's won the Open. Ryder Cup legend Paul Lawrie is with us. Paul, fantastic to have you in the studio. How
Pleasure.
are you?
Looking forward to it.
Hey, Paul, you all right?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah.
We've been dead excited.
We're
both keen amateur golfers.
Yeah.
And we're getting somebody like...
Well, we're pretty good. We've got something in common. We're both sponsored by Wilson.
There you go.
There you go.
There's a wee plug.
That's another
44
plug.
seconds, Frank. That's well done. Yeah, that's your personal best.
How long did that take?
Yeah.
You watching Drew?
Aye. Is Drew his name?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking for a set of irons as well.
Yeah.
All joking aside, this is really good of you joining us.
Pleasure.
So how's life treating you?
Yeah, busy. I don't play an awful lot of competitive golf anymore, but we've got quite a few things that we're kind of involved in and businesses and stuff, so that keeps me busy. But I still play in practice every day. I still kind of hit balls in the morning and play 9 holes and then go to the office in the afternoon is what I do when I'm home. And I'll probably play 10 events roughly a year. Obviously, full-time golfers would play sort of 24, 25 a year, so 10 is not an awful lot, but
No.
I kind of enjoy it more now, to be honest, when I play, because when you're playing less, you kind of want to get out there a bit more when you're playing a little bit less. When it's every week, it doesn't get monotonous because you never think of your tour pro as a great job to have, and I was lucky to do it for what I did it for so long. But when you play less, I enjoy it a bit more, to be honest. And the seniors, it's competitive, the Legends Tour. Obviously, there's a lot of good players on it, but it's not the level of the main tour, so it's a little easier to hopefully kind of play a bit better.
A little less stressful.
Yeah, the boys, it's a little bit more social. Obviously, it's guys that you've played with your whole career.
Yeah.
So, going out for a bite to eat and a couple of beers now is kind of much more sociable than it was on the main tour. I mean, the main tour when I played was that you went out at night and no problem. But I think nowadays that tour is maybe a little bit more serious than it was. And that's just how professional sport has gone as the money's come into it and the seriousness is kind of a bit more. But no, the Legends Tour is great fun and we have a good time.
Mm-hmm. Do you still, when you're not playing these games and you're working with your different charities up there, do you still play golf with your pals? Do you still go out and play? And
yeah,
do you still get to do that?
Yeah, I never used to play any bounce golf or bounce games at all when I played main tour. But now, the few of you will meet and you'll go out and play, 9 holes or a bite to eat and whatever, and it's way. And I'm a competitive person. I never ever. It's never a bounce game.
Even playing with my kids. Do you ever let anybody
even
win?
Playing with my kids, it was just. I mean, my wife used to go mental. But I mean,
I know
when you do it for a living, it's what you do.
Of course.
But I play far more recreational golf now than I ever did. So that's and I quite enjoy it. I quite enjoy going out and just playing a few holes with a few mates. It's good fun.
I don't know. Do you ever get lessons when you're out in the course?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've got some people who you kind of play golf with, and maybe you don't see them for a couple of months, and they might have slipped into a bad habit or whatever, and they ask you what you think, and kind of, I'm not. I mean, obviously, I'm PGA qualified. I went through my PGA when I was young. But you pick up so much about golf and swings and whatever as the longer you play, the more experience you get at it. So I'd like to think I kind of know what I'm talking about, but some people might not
That's
agree.
an interesting subject, actually. What would you say is the most common fault in an amateur golfer's swing?
Well, I don't know what the percentage is, but most amateurs slice the ball, obviously left to right.
Yeah.
And it's the shot that when you play at the very top level, a lot of the top players, that's the shot that they kind of stick to, but it's not a slice, it's more of a kind of fade. Start down the left and hang on to it and let it finish right. Whereas your amateur golfer will aim 30 yards right and it'll end up going, left and it'll end up going 20 yards right. Yeah. So slice is the most common kind of thing that they do. But it's not easy, is it? It's a tough game. It's a mega tough game.
I think you said to me when we're doing that thing up at Glen Eagles for Trevor, we're doing that charity and you were talking to us, and I think somebody had told me, I seen something on, it may have been Tiger, that said the most important thing for amateurs is a follow through.
Yeah.
No matter what, make sure you follow through. And it's really worked for me, because you said to me, don't forget to follow through. And it's really worked for me, I'm hitting the ball better.
Most amateur golfers will fall back on it. And when you fall back on it, you create a space that the club goes into. And it's always across you. So it's heel to toe is how the club's coming into the ball. Whereas if you go forward, you're getting toe to heel and it's coming out straight or left.
I mean, it's a good
It's the big thing.
I saw something on YouTube. So I'm up in holiday up north a few weeks ago, playing up in Tane, gave the boys a shout out, and before
giving him a tent, you've got a top on him, right? Look, he's advertising.
There's no need for shout outs when you've got a top
You don't need that.
So I don't like talking about, but I want a wee match play competition up
lovely.
there, right? And before going into it, though, I had a dose of the unmentionables before going up north, right? And I couldn't. And Big Ewan at Hilton Park tried to help us with a couple of tips, and it was horrendous.
They gave you Pampers.
No, I gave me Pampers. But I jumped onto YouTube and I saw a thing called wide to narrow. Right.
Yeah.
And I went out and started practicing it, and it stopped instantly, and I played really well.
Right.
And it basically was taking it wide and the takeaway as much as possible, so that the figure of 8 you're coming from.
I don't get it. I didn't get it.
In to out, you would call it,
Yeah.
rather than out to in, because most amateurs come across the ball.
Yeah.
Whatever
And
works for you.
Aye, but what? Fine. I'll show you next time we're out. I'll take some money.
Well, most amateurs take it too much inside on the way back,
And then they go over the top.
they loop it over the top,
Aye.
and they come in from a steep angle, and the club face opens, and the body goes back, and the club goes left.
Yeah.
When you even like if you want to draw the ball, you need the club coming inside on the way down. You can't do that when it goes inside on the way back.
Yeah.
Or you're just going to hit yourself probably with the club. So that's what he's on about.
You're in the senior tour now.
Yeah.
Do you still have a coach?
Yeah, I do.
That's
Yeah,
what I wondered.
Alan McCloskey coaches me
Right.
at Bothwell Castle.
Right.
Alan's coached me for a while now. I've always had somebody that I've kind of chatted to or seen or whatever, and I see Alan maybe half a dozen times a year. I send him videos most weeks when I'm kind of plitting balls and playing. So yeah, Alan's brilliant. He's been there for a wee while and knows what he's doing. And just because you can't, even though you've got a video camera and you've got a stand, just somebody to say, I'm not sure about that, or and it's not when you get to my age, your swing is your swing. You're not going to change. You're not going to change your swing drastically, but every now and again, posture stuff he's big on. And then his big thing is right side travel, which is what you're on about. Weight forward. He's on about the right side going to the target through on the way through.
Right.
So if you're hanging back on it, your right side's back here. Your right side needs to go forward. So right side travel is his big thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
So he'll love all this.
I know.
Oh,
Get that in. Membership as well.
Free lesson.
So another question. You were, I believe that you were the last Scottish person to win a major.
Last male, Scottish male. Yeah, because Katrina Matthew won after me.
Oh, right,
she won the
okay,
Ladies
there you go,
British
there you
Open.
go.
See, I just keep
So,
you
I know.
right.
Wee Andy Murray moment.
Oh, yeah, Andy Murray moment.
Aye.
By the way, good for you.
I know, well done,
listen,
Andy.
That's going to go. That clip will go viral as well.
seen it,
You're going to.
Talking about Andy, I've seen
Everyone's going to love you for that.
I seen Andy the other day there.
Aye.
You seen him?
Something-
He
he
plays
made
golf.
He made a two at the last at the
Plays
old
golf
course.
every day.
Yeah, he
I said
loves
to him,
it,
how
doesn't
you're
he?
enjoying retirement playing golf.
Loves it.
Brilliant. We've seen him
Yeah.
up at Glen Eagles.
Aye.
Another tip.
Really good.
We're mentioning everyone today, aren't we?
Well, we're getting them in.
But actually, I'm glad you brought that up, Frank, because that 4-iron you played in the playoff against Justin Leonard at Carnoustie in 1999, lights fading. And we'll go on in a wee minute to talk about the whole build-up to that and Van de Vel and the burn and all that. But did you ever remember hitting a golf shot under more pressure than that, would you say?
Well, I always explain that where it was kind of you're well into your round or the round's finished or whatever, so you're focused on what you're kind of doing. I get really nervous on the first tee, no matter what tournament I'm playing. But after that, I'm hunky-dory.
Yeah.
So I wasn't nervous over that shot or worried about it, or my routine was always really good back there. I mean, Adam Hunter, who coached me for years, who's sadly no longer with us, he drummed that into me on the practice grounds around the world, that your routine is the most important thing for a golfer. You have to do the same thing all the time. So I was just in my routine then, and you're kind of stepping up and you're picking your target and off you go.
Yeah.
So I very seldom get nervous over a shot if it's in the round or what you're doing. But first tee, I'm not the best on the first tee. It's weird.
Just get it off the tee and get it down.
Just anywhere in the air, and I'm fine. I'm happy enough.
Am I right in saying that you didn't know where his ball was? It might have been different.
Justin Leonard, you mean, in the playoff?
Aye. In the playoff
when he hit his shot and I kind of saw his ball bounce, and I said to Paddy, who was my caddy at the time, Paddy Byrne, I said, "Did you see that?" And he said, "Well, I saw it bounce." So we both assumed that it was in the bunker because we saw it bounce, because we didn't know the ball had bounced short of the burn and went in the burn. I mean, it was quite a distance between the burn and the bunker.
The light was fading.
You'd have to think that logically the ball bounced in the bunker. So we didn't feel we had any choice but to step up and hit the shot. But had I known that his ball was in the burn, I would have chipped it down the fairway.
Which is, this is great. This is just...
Would have definitely chipped it down the fairway. Why would you not?
So if we go back an hour or so, and obviously everyone remembers 1999, so you went out and played a lot earlier because you were quite far down the leaderboard going into the Sunday. You had a cracking round of 67?
Yeah, well, I was 10 shots behind, but in 13th place.
Right, okay.
So it's amazing how the scoring that year was obviously because the course was so tough.
The rough was really bad.
Yeah, so we were actually in a decent position, but 10 shots behind.
Right,
it's weird. So normally you're 10 shots behind, you can be in 50th or 60th. But
so you call on all your golf as a youth in Aberdeenshire in the worst weather imaginable, and you put in this fantastic final day round, and your name then starts to just climb that leaderboard as the afternoon continues. When you hold out in 18th to finish it, did you think, actually, I might be on my shout here?
No, not really. I think my focus for the week was to get in the Scottish World Cup team. There was a two-man team every year that represented Scotland in the World Cup, and Andrew Coulthard was the second place at the time. And I was just behind him on the order of merit. So I thought, right, a really good week and I could get in there. And then as the round went on and I was kind of climbing the board, I knew that top four got in the Masters, which I hadn't played the Masters at that time.
Right, brilliant.
So I was thinking about that the whole day. So I always, the psychologists that I've worked with over the years, they always kind of try and give you things to take your mind off of the main thing.
Yeah.
So you're focusing on something little. In actual fact, you end up with something massive like the Open.
Yeah.
So that was the things I was thinking about. And knocking Coulter out of that World Cup squad was magic. That was even better than winning the Open.
Fantastic. And I presume that was Monty.
He's such a good lad, Andy.
Was Monty?
Monty was in the number one spot. Yeah.
So let's go back, and we were discussing before we started filming. You were talking about being on the range when Van de Velde is on the 18th tee. Well, you take up this.
Well, we finished our round and we went into the players' lounge, obviously, to get a bite to eat. And they've got the TVs and stuff in there, and I was sitting with Adam and we're getting a bite to eat, and then they were getting further and further round, and then I think they got to about, I don't know, they're on about the 15th maybe, or 14th or 15th, and it was down to about 3 or 4 shots at that time, and Adam, kind of being Adam, he's super sort of thingy, and he said, look, I think we should go and hit some balls, and you just don't know what's happening, you just don't know.
Yeah.
So off we went to the range to hit some balls, and there was a little cabin for the range guy, for the ball picker, and he had a monitor in there. So Adam said to Paddy, right, you stay in here and keep us informed of what's kind of going on. And as we were hitting balls, obviously people assumed, or I don't know if the TV panned into me hitting balls, and all of a sudden there was piles of people on the range, and they were on the range because security wasn't there. So Adam took me over onto the short game area, which was over a bridge, and then Paddy shouted at us to come back because he was on the last tee. But Adam said, let us know when they're on the last tee and we'll come over and watch it.
Yeah.
So when we got to the monitor, he was just teeing off. And he hit it right of the water. I don't know if you remember it, but he actually hit it down 17 with his tee shot right. And it was short of the water. So we decided, right, we'll head back in. Good effort, well done, good week, but it's not going to happen this week from there. Surely he'll make 6 from there.
Yeah.
And then we were heading back in the buggy, and you go through the BBC compound that year, and Dougie Donnelly was sitting kind of watching it and shouted at us to, believe what's happening here. And we got out the buggy, and he'd hit it in the water at that time, and he was in there working out whether he should play it or not take it or whatever. So then had him again. He said, right, let's go. We need to get you something else to eat. We need to do a bit of putting and, So that was kind of how it unfolded.
Well, we spoke out there, and I said to you about what I needed to do was take a drop.
Yeah.
And there's a strange...
Yeah.
The answer you gave me, and people won't understand.
Yeah, well, there's two parts of that. I think when he's hit it in there and he's taking his socks and shoes off to have a go at it, clearly his head's already gone by then. So then, logically, you would think, right, just take a drop. But then the rough was so thick and then to drop it might not have been the easiest thing either to do that. You'd keep it in line with where it's gone in, to go back far enough back. And then you throw into the mix, his head's already gone with what's going on. Everyone's kind of... So, I understand that he if you've got a 6 to win, he should have won. But it's the biggest event in the world, and there's a lot of people going about. His head was obviously scrambled quite a bit. So it's not just quite as simple as just take a drop and you win.
You would have just chipped it out because he could have chipped it out, couldn't he? I mean,
I think there was a lot of criticism for the time.
Green, didn't he?
A lot of criticism for his caddy, at the time. And he was a proper caddy, there's no doubt about that. But if I was in that situation and my caddy wasn't screaming from the rooftops to lay this up,
just play short,
he wouldn't have been my caddy for long, because that's what these boys get their money for.
You say to a professional golfer, this is a par 4, but you can win with a 6.
Yeah.
I mean, it beggars belief.
Yeah.
What I always remember as well is that Peter Alice at the time, when Van der Belle was in the water, socks and shoes off, it was incredible theatre.
Yeah.
It was.
For millions of people around the world watching.
Didn't he?
And Peter Alice, I always remember getting a wee bit cantankerous and saying, this is ridiculous. Someone go and tell him, And you're like, no, this is amazing.
And he's saying, leave him alone.
This is television like the likes of which we have never seen.
I know.
I'm shouting at the telly. Tell him.
Big man, go for it.
And as it turned out, I mean, even just getting what he needed to make the playoff, he probably did all right in retrospect.
Well, I answer the end of always my answer to that question is that people forget how good an up and down he made to actually just get in the playoff.
Yeah.
Because he had a really tough bunker shot to play.
Yeah.
And he got it out to about 8 feet and knocked it in. Give him his due to get in the playoff.
Yeah.
But he should never have been in that position. I know it sounds harsh, but...
Do you speak to him much? Have you been...
Yeah, I actually got on really well with Jean, and he's come over to Aberdeen and did our foundation dinner, and I've played in his events and stuff, and we always gotten on really well. And it was funny how I had the week off after, and then I was in Ireland the next week, and then the first American trip that I made after when the Open was the World Series.
Yeah.
And I had breakfast with him. The first day I arrived, I went down for breakfast, and he was sitting, so I went and had breakfast with him. So, I mean, it's not... I mean, and people ask me, have you ever spoke to him about it? Well, how do you speak to somebody about something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, so the topics never came up in conversation.
No.
But we're always gotten on well. We're good mates, to be fair. He's a really, really good lad. And he played some really good golf after the Open. When you consider what he's gone through, he then played Ryder Cup. And so, fair play. But no, the conversation never really came up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what does being a major champion mean? I mean, how does it alter your life?
Well, I kind of was asked that question for years, and it was about 10 months after I won the Open that all the press want to know how has life changed. How has life changed and whatever. And I thought, stupidly, I would be kind of smart. And somebody asked me in a press conference, and I said, well, apart from the Ferrari, the mansion, and the private jet, not much, which I thought was quite funny. But of course,
people take it wrong.
Press write things as being serious.
They never let the facts in.
No, they don't. No, they don't. So I made that mistake. So then I went for kind of counselling after that with What's our training?
Media training.
Media training.
media training.
But the thing is, but anyone who didn't, surely anyone who didn't understand that was a joke,
joke.
flippant answer.
Yeah,
People
but-
take life too seriously.
The
but
press,
I mean-
you know what the press will do. They just want a story. That's
Yeah.
But I
luckily
was-
you gave the press loads of stories.
Okay,
Anyway,
that
that's
gave them loads.
But I was always one of the juniors at the club with 2 balls on the putting green. One was me and one was Sevi, and you're playing for the Open type stuff like that. So if I was allowed any tournament victory, it was only allowed one. That would have been the one that you would have won, because that's the tournament I went to first as a kid with my dad and my brother, to a few Opens and stuff, and watching Sevi and Nicholas and Trevino and these boys. That was the event I would have wanted. So then to have the opportunity to be the champion golfer of the year, it just doesn't get any better. I don't care. I don't care how it happened. I don't care the way it happened.
It's a dream.
Your name's on that jug. It's no coming off.
I read an interview, you were talking about the late Adam Hunter and how he was ill, and your golf had kind of dipped a wee bit, and he said to you, get back in the range and get into the gym.
Yeah, it was 2010, and the Ryder Cup was at Celtic Manor, and I'd taken a job with Sky to do some commentating and some studio work for them that week, and Adam was in hospital ill, and I'd gone in to see him after the Ryder Cup, and he just tore shreds off me for taking that job. Look at the state of you. You're overweight. You're out of shape. You've not been hitting balls. You can tell by your scores. You should be playing in that, not talking about it. Is what he said. As he's lying there, tubes coming out of him. And I went to that, and I sat and cried in the car when I came out, because I was a decent player before I started working with Adam, but he was the difference for me. So when someone like him
tells you
is having a go at you like that, and really having a go, and he's lying there dying. Man, it was tough.
you know they mean it. And
of course they do, and that's why I liked him and respected him the way that I did, because he wasn't a typical yes guy, and you need these guys in your life. You need people. My wife's like that, and every now and again she'll say something, and you actually feel quite bad that she's had to say it. And you think, right, I better sort that out.
No, that's
he was always like that.
Great piece of advice.
Oh, he was brilliant. He was amazing for me.
Was that a kind of springboard which for the success story that Medinah?
Yeah, well, yeah, because not only did I not enjoy doing the commentating side of it, I didn't think I was very good at it. I probably would have, like I've done with everything in my life, I would have probably, if that was going to be my life, I would have worked at it and got better at it. But I didn't really enjoy it.
No.
And then I thought, right, I'm going to crack on here. I'm going to kick on. I'm going to get back in the gym. I'm going to hit balls. And it was around the same time that my oldest boy beat me for the first time at golf. So that kind of those two things with a springboard for me getting in the Medinah team.
Fantastic.
And when I sat in the car after Adam having a go at me, I vowed that I would do everything to get in the next team. So then when you do achieve that, amazing.
Brilliant.
I mean that afternoon, Medinah. Remember watching it. I mean, and actually, I mean the singles was an incredible spectacle. But I was thinking Ian Poulter in the Saturday afternoon. The 5 birdies and the bounce. Which kind of made it possible in some respects. Yeah, well, we were 10-4 down with 2 games to go. And both games were behind coming in. So to turn, because, I mean, 12-4, I mean, there's just no, I mean...
Don't think, do you?
10-6 is bad enough, but 12-4, you don't know what you can win from there. So for those 2 games to win...
I think that took the pressure off you a wee bit?
Yeah, a little bit. The team meeting that night was the shortest one that we had all week. Jose went down the road of, right, momentum's on our side, it's in our favour. First 5 games have to win tomorrow. If the first 5 games win tomorrow, they'll totally crumble. The home crowd will get again, which is exactly what happened word for word. And I was match 5 in the morning, so when he said the top 5 have to win, you're kind of sitting there going, Jesus, could he not have said the top 4? I mean, it's great.
But you've also said in the past that your tee to green golf was really good, but your putting hadn't been great on the Friday and Saturday. But someone gave you a wee bit of a, was it Darren Clark?
Yeah,
gave you a bit of advice?
2012 was the best year of my career, ball striking wise. And had I putted half decent that year, I would have won 5 or 6 tournaments comfortably. I would have won the World Match Play for sure. I would have probably won another major that year, because 12 I was in there at Lytham for a while, and then I was on the putting green on the Saturday night. I'd played lovely the 2 matches that I'd had in the Ryder Cup, but I'd putted really poorly. Colesarts and I were inside Dustin Johnson and Matt Kuchar 13 of the 17 holes that we played and lost because the two of us just couldn't get the ball in the hole. And then I was on the putting green, and Darren came out to say that, look, they're talking about the singles order. You need to get in there. But I was so keen to try and find something because I'd played 2 matches, had no points. I thought, man, if we come back tomorrow, I don't want to be the one that's played 3 times and not got a point. And then he says, because how they do it in the Ryder Cup, there's 4 vice captains, and each vice captain gets 3 players to look after. So as a vice captain, your job is to give them the information they need to know, because the captain's so busy. So he delegates to the 4. So Darren was my kind of vice captain that I was kind of thingy to, and he said, what you up to? And I said, well, I'm just putting poorly. And he said, well, I watched you a little bit this afternoon, and I know your stroke is normally quite long, and you've got a little bit of a decel in it. That's the way you putt. It's just a wee bit longer than normal at the minute. If you shorten it ever so slightly, you'll get a little bit more pop to it. And I kind of, within 10 putts, straight away, I thought, wow, I'm going to putt great tomorrow. And it's amazing how, when a decent player, it's just something tiny, same as a footballer. You give them something little in their head, off the bop. And he said, right, come on, we've got to go inside and get this singles thing. And he says, how did that feel? I said, oh, it felt great. So we go in, and they're having the meeting, and they're all chatting, and Jose's at the top of the table, and he says, right, who's thinking about early and who's going out and whatever. And Clarkey pipes up, and he says, because they call me Chippy, he said, Chippy needs to go out early, he said. And I'm like, so I'm staring at him across this room. Because, obviously, if the guy tells you to go out early, you're going to go out early, it's not a problem. But to offer it up, I thought, what you doing? And he said, look, I've just watched him putting, he's going to take whoever you give him tomorrow. Get him out early. I'm like, but great for me sitting there because, here's him putting me in a position where you kind of, if the top 5 have to win, and he's saying, right, he's one of your 5 to go early. Wow. And I felt $1 million. You're sitting there and you're thinking, and I went straight out after the meeting and I putted for another hour maybe. It was dark before I kind of finished putting. And it's weird how you have a few times in your career where you just know you're going to play well. You just know it's going to go for you. And I had that morning. I just thought it didn't matter how he plays today, I'm taking him down.
So the Americans looked at that, the American team, the European team, and that Sunday morning, and Brad Snedeker has just come off the back of a huge win the week earlier as well.
He won the FedEx the week before.
They probably see Paul Lawrie as one of the weaker members of the European team. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So they're thinking that's probably a point in the bag, and yet you register Europe's biggest win in the singles.
Is it 6 and 5 or 5 and 4?
I think it ended up 4 and 3. 4 and 3. I was 6 under for 15 holes. I think it was the best score of all the players. The singles matches, mine. Played lovely. Got off to a great start. Hold a couple of putts early on, and then I chipped in from the back of the 4th to win that hole. Eagled the 5th, birdied 6, 8 and 9, so I was out in about 5 under for 9 holes. Played lovely golf. And he's actually a really good lad, Snedeker. Really, really good lad. Quite quiet. Got a lot of time for him. He said some nice things on the green when we won. But just to be a part of that and to produce golf like that when you really, really have to, man, it's so satisfying. I can't tell you.
Completely. Always look at the celebrations after it when you're looking at golfers who you only really associate with playing golf and never really letting their hair down, and then you see all the scenes and the national flags and the champagne, and that must. I mean, that's just.
Oh, it's magic. It's hard to. I played 2 Ryder Cups. Both of them were away from home. I'd have loved to have played a home Ryder Cup to get the atmosphere of the home crowd. But the 2 that I played were kind of famous for. Obviously, Brookline was crazy with what went on in the 17th green with all the players, but then Medinah to come back from that. And we were on the 18th fairway, my wife and I, with Jose Maria, the captain. Poulter was there, Rose was there, when Molinari and Tiger were on the green at 18. So we were standing there, and just before Molinari putted, there was kind of Americans by the kind of thingy in Poulter, as he does. He was kind of noising them up a little bit. And I was kind of, would you calm down a bit, man? They're trying to come over the barrier at us because it's just all kicking off. And then Molinari obviously was given his putt, and all hell just breaks loose. And honestly, it's just, and I think everyone knows that the European team, win, lose or draw, we have a party. It's a massive week. You've got to celebrate success, but even if you get beat, everyone's putting everything into it. Yeah. So all the staff get invited into the team room, and all everybody's there, and you just have a great time. But when you win, it's a better party. But I mean, you have a party anyway. That's what it's all about.
I've got to ask a question about Polks, because how can he do that in the Ryder Cup?
Yeah, he's amazing.
Can't win tournaments. I've met Polks a few times, and a great lad. But how can you not win tournaments?
I don't know.
The way he plays in the Ryder Cup.
I mean, obviously he's won tournaments. He's won big tournaments, but he's not won a major or and he's playing the Ryder Cup means that he should have won. But he just loves it. He probably putts way better in that than he does in anything else, which I think is the big difference. And I think I've found that with both Ryder Cups that I've played in, people say to you that you do things that you don't think you're capable of doing in the Ryder Cup. And it's very true. I hit shots in the Ryder Cup, but I actually never thought I could pull off. Yeah, and it's amazing. I remember Seve talking about that. And it's definitely true. And I think Poulter finds that. I think Poulter hits shots and plays better golf in that than he does in any other tournament. It just seems to...
Just been part of a team and maybe having that kind of wind beneath the wings a wee bit.
It's an amazing... It really is.
Used to playing the team.
Yeah. It's an amazing tournament, Ryder Cup.
What about Seve, sorry? What about Seve? Did you get a chance to...
Yeah, I played with Seve quite a few times over the years. First time I played with him, it was my first year on tour. We were over in Spain for the Spanish Open, and in those days, there was no phones. The draws were downstairs in the hotel reception. It just gets posted on a piece of paper. So you kind of Marion was with me. I went downstairs to have a look, and I saw that I was playing with Seve for the first time. He was Sandy Lyle and Seve were the two people that I followed when I was a kid. So to get a chance to play with him, I mean, just, unbelievable. And I got on the tee really early. I was mega nervous. I'd never met him before. And he came wandering down the tee and he was swinging his putter like a matador. And I was just like, wow, it was getting closer and closer and closer. And it's just weird. I mean, I was 20 odd years of age, first year on tour, and here's you're playing with an idol. And he said a couple of nice things after we finished about, you swinging real good and you're going to do okay. And I thought, wow. So cool. They say you should never meet your idols, but my two, and then Sir Alex is my other one. So the three of those, I've met them and they've been brilliant.
And of course, a shout out to our new sponsors, Glenifer Carpet and Upholstery Cleaning, who take great pride in offering honest advice customised to each client, along with clear, transparent pricing, while ensuring friendly and personal approach. Whether it's domestic, carpets, lounges, living rooms, bedrooms, hallways, stairs, rugs or business premises, they cover all aspects of carpet cleaning, as well as both fabric and leather upholstery. All carpets are steam cleaned, sanitised and deodorised on every job. They invest in state-of-the-art equipment to ensure your premises receive the best clean. Now, they also strongly recommend that carpets and upholstery should be cleaned every 6 months to be rid of dust mites, odours and pet stains. And they use the correct detergents and cleaning methods and pride themselves in delivering professional results. So if you want your home or premises to be top of the league, then call them today. And remember,
your carpet's not clean till Willie's been. Call them on 07843 274 867.
I'm looking forward to hearing your favourite carpet stories over the next few weeks while we've got Glenifer on board. You must have a few good carpet stories.
Yes, we have, but there's what I've always said, there's no future in the past, mate. So we might not go back.
Anyway, well, listen, we're delighted to have Glenifer on board.
Yes.
Willie from Glenifer, thank you very much for supporting the Let Me Be Frank podcast. And if you want a 10% discount, just let them know that you saw the advert in the Let Me Be Frank podcast. Anyone else out there who wants to be a sponsor too, please get in touch.
Or even just subscribe. Press that button.
That's it. Hit subscribe. Follow us on social media.
Today's episode is also brought to you by Team Limited. They are a sector-leading commercial building, glazing and roof maintenance specialists.
Team Limited brings years of expertise to commercial buildings, serving as the go-to specialists, a trusted partner for building maintenance solutions. Connect with them at 0333 241 2689 or www.team-limited.com. Okay, let's get back to the chat. we're going to talk a bit more about the forthcoming Ryder Cup, also your love of Aberdeen. But before we do that, a quick reminder to all the people watching, please do your bit. Follow us, subscribe, hit the subscribe button, which is on the screen right now. Follow us, and free to do. Follow us on social media. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, all the other stuff. And we will continue to keep delivering top drawer guests like the man in the studio. This is great.
We're not a golfer on it, but we've had wee Craig on
Craig
caddy.
Conley.
Oh, wee man, yeah.
It's great.
He took us inside the ropes
Did
in Medinah when Keimer's 18th, because I can't remember the actual story he told, but I think it was all about him saying to him, "You need to calm down," playing his approach.
He's a top lad, the wee man.
He was great. He was great fun. So growing up in Aberdeen or Aberdeenshire, was it only ever golf? Did football ever figure in your?
No, I first of all, I wanted to be a footballer when I first I came through. I was decent. I was a right winger. I played we have a thing called Grampian Select. I don't think they do it anymore, but it's all the best kids from the area. And I played in that a few times. Obviously a big Aberdeen fan. So my initial idea was to be a Gordon Strachan or a Willie Miller, but that didn't quite work out. So I kind of had to pick on something else. And I played golf when I was a kid, but never really seriously or took much interest in it. Never played any competitions when I was young. And then I was out at Bankery just playing my father was a taxi driver, so he used to play in the taxi drivers' outings. And if somebody pulled out or didn't turn up, then I would get a game instead of caddying for my old man. And I was just teeing off the first tee, and the pro was outside, just happened to be outside and watched me kind of hit it. And he said to my dad, what's Paul up to and what does he play off and whatever. And he said, well, he's a 5 handicap. He doesn't play an awful lot of golf. And he said, well, Fraser Mann has just got the job up at Ballater, so I'm looking for a junior assistant. You think he'd be keen? And my dad had the same reaction as I had later, and he said, what, to be a pro? Because you just don't associate that a 5 handicap is going to be. So
what age are you at this point?
17.
Right.
Wow. And he said, well, I'll tell him. He said, tell him to come over after his round. Okay, so I'll go in the clubhouse, and my dad says, Doug, the pro, wants to speak to you. And I said, well, thinking I've done something wrong. Well, what's that about? And he said, no, I think he wants you to be a assistant pro. I said, what, a pro? And he said, yeah. So over I go, and he said, I watched you tee off there, what's your handicap, and, whatever, what's your plans? And I said, well, I'm washing cars down at the garage. My dad had a big taxi firm at the time. I'm washing cars and helping out down there. And I said, I'm not sure about, I'm a 5 handicap. No, that's the limit to be the PGA Pro at the minute is 5. And he said, well, have a think about it. And he said, tell you what, we'll have a game next week and we'll have a wee thingy. So, all right. So we had a game. And he offered me the job halfway around. And I said, well, I'm doing nothing else. No harm in having a go at it. And that was 1986. And who would have believed that,
Superb.
Yeah, an amazing story.
That's incredible. So you're playing off 5, not plus 5.
5. No, 5. Yeah. That was the limit. It's 3 now, but it used to be 5.
Did you get paid for it?
Hey?
Did you get paid for it?
Well, so I suppose is that job, is that effectively at that point a job in the shop, really, as assistant pro?
So you're a PGA professional in training is what they call it.
Aye. And how long did it take for your handicap to start coming down?
Well, as soon as you turn pro, that's it. You've not got a handicap.
I suppose,
so my handicap was never lower than 5. Wow. That was the lowest I ever got.
Hope for you yet, Frank.
No.
But obviously, as soon as and the next best thing that happened to me, I'd been there quite a few weeks, and they have a beat the pro thing at the golf club, which they have at a lot of clubs, where one of the pros will play, and you play against the pro score, your net against his gross. And Doug had put me in, and I had a terrible day. I was awful. I really played poorly. And I think there was only 6 or 7 of the members that didn't beat me that day. Right. And I go back into the shop on the Sunday the next day, and Doug's in it. Doug was never there that early, but his car was there early, and I thought, man, I'm in trouble here. So I opened the door, and he shouts, Paul, in the office. I'm like, wow, I'm in trouble here. But what he actually said was, listen, he said, it's no problem for me to give out balls to the members. It's quite a good thing. But for your benefit, I've not seen you on the range. I've not seen you practice your putting. I've not seen you playing golf.
So
you've been here. If you want to be this, you need to get a reasonable level to your golf. Yeah. And then I thought to myself, right, that'll never happen again. That'll never happen again to me, where someone has to speak to me about being your job and professionalism and whatever. So I started hitting balls every morning, every night after work. I'd play a few holes with Fraser, and the boys would come down from Ballater, and we'd have some money games and stuff. And all of a sudden, I started getting a bit better. I started working harder at it. And then I won the very first professional event that I played in, which was the Murray Seafoods Open, about 6 weeks later. So you turn pro at 5 handicap and you're not very good, but you put a bit of effort in, and there was obviously a little bit of talent there. And then it was only a local thing, but I mean, you still won your first event, so amazing.
I think every sport's the same as football. I mean, talent's nothing without hard work.
No.
You've got to put the hard work in.
Yeah. And I mean, I've never been shy to hit balls and work at it. I know myself, when my game's not in the state that it needs to be in, that I need to have a week where I just kind of get on the range and I batter the balls and I dig it out the dirt, and I'll probably hit 1,000 balls a day for a couple of days, and you get the feeling back and you feel better about yourself. So hard work is definitely the key.
See, we go the other way. We take a couple of days off. I don't want to get near it again.
Is the similar number of young guys, young kids golfing now compared to maybe 20 or 30 years ago? There seems to me a wee bit of a dip in the numbers. Would you agree with that?
I think the golfers are still there. I think the players are still there. I think we're as a country, I think we've been struggling a wee bit of getting them from turning pro, good amateurs, and then they turn pro and they don't keep up the same, level of improvement for some reason. But I think, as a country, there's a lot of people working hard to try but we're not in the best place. I don't. One player in the top 100 is
money's getting to do with the
I think they get, if anything, I think Scottish golf and what they get coming through and how they get looked after is way better than when I came through. And as you know yourself, it's down to the individual. It's got to be the golfer or the footballer that makes it happen.
I was thinking more about school holidays when I was at school, and we were all Frank's a good bit older than us, but the golf courses are mobbed in the school holidays.
Yeah.
I don't kind of see that as much when I'm playing my home course. Right. I don't see as many kids.
Right.
And I don't know whether that's because there's so many distractions now.
Well, there was no iPads or phones when we were young, so you had to go out and do something. Play football out the front or golf with your mates.
I think a lot of them, they set them out at certain times, don't they? They have certain times for the kids to get.
That was always an issue.
And all that, so you might not see them.
Things have changed quite a lot, haven't they? I mean, I don't know what age you boys are, but I'm 56, so when I was coming through, there was none of that. There was no phones or anything. Nowadays, man, technology is unbelievable.
I know.
And if you're a young kid, I would probably want to be, doing that instead of, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we've got to find a way because we're not doing that well. I don't think it's sport. So
everyone wants to be an influencer.
Which brings us on the Ryder Cup actually, and Bob Mack. So Bob Mack from a few years ago, to me, has gone from a young guy who was always in the periphery. Now he's probably one of the main men in that European team. The Americans going to look at him and say he's the guy that's been doing really well in various tournaments, and he's a really strong part of that. How have you been quite impressed with him in the last year?
Well, obviously very impressed. I mean, he's there was a number of them that kind of all came through at the same time. And I'm not being disrespectful to Bob, but there was other ones in that group who probably you thought might have done better than what Bob would have done. So fair play to him. He's now a world-class performer,
top
all over the
top
world. He's there or thereabouts, most events that he plays. And like you say, Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black, he'll be right in there as one of the main men. And Ryder Cup teams are always made up of top 6 and bottom 6, and I don't mean that as in quality of player, but you've got players that will play every match. So that's your top 6, Rory's, and then the next 6 fill in and play with some of the players. So there's always 1 to 6 and 7 to 12. And Bob would have probably been a 7 to 12 player in Rome. But I think now, Bethpage, he's gone in as a 1 to 6 player. So the change has been quite dramatic for him. And great to see.
I see a similarity in the American, is it Bubba Watson?
Yeah.
Bob's about his characterism, just the way he hits the way, as if
left-handed.
he looks as if, I know, apart from left-handed, but he looks as if he's never the lesson. And Bubba's never,
he's self-taught,
he just goes out, he says that, and I'm going, the two of them are very similar. Two of them are great players.
And we've always, I mean, for years, I kind of not been banging on about it, but I think when kids have a player that's up there, like Ireland have had Rory, it's so, if you're a kid, you want to follow him and you want to do what he does. And we've been kind of looking for a golfer for a wee while that kids can go, I want to do what he does. And I think Bob is doing what he needs to do. And if I was a young kid, I'd be following him and I'd be trying to get into golf. I mean, that's what you need. You need people to look up to.
Yeah. You mentioned
the surge of washing machines went up when they were following Rory. They were all trying to smash the washing machine.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool, yeah.
That's a great eye. You were talking before we started filming about his reaction when he kind of lost to Sheffield the other week and he was in a very strong position, and then in his post-match comments he said, I wanted to smash my clubs.
Yeah.
And whether putting a microphone under a golfer's head so soon after it, obviously people want to see the reaction, but
you know what? You know what I find sometimes? The people that are talking to you, they've never been in that position. Yeah. So they don't know. They just they're just trying to look after themselves. And if it was me that had the microphone, I'd have said, look, give him 10 minutes.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Thoughts on that?
But, they should give him time.
Yeah, but you want your top sports people, you want that reaction, I think. I think you want that in them. Yeah. Because if they haven't got that in them, then the desire and the thingy to win is not there. Whereas if you've got a player who's coming off losing like that when really he feels as though he should have won, and he goes, oh, well, I'll get it next time. I don't want that. I want someone with a bit of fire.
Someone who's really hurt.
Of course you do. You want a Sir Alex in there when, imagine in that dressing room. And I mean, I would rather have I would rather have that and him coming out with stuff like he came out with than the other side where he's not bothered about losing. He should be bothered about losing. He should be raging at losing that when he was in control of it.
I just think you could, somebody said to me, I'd be like, what a stupid question that is. I mean, I know Rory's done it a couple of times. That's a stupid question.
But obviously half the time, the person that's asking the question,
and Scheffler as well,
they're looking for her. They want that, don't they? Their job is to get that reaction because it's great TV.
Sheffler was going to walk out. He says, I'm not talking about the Ryder Cup. Forget about it. We've got a tournament. If you want to talk about that.
Yeah, Shane Lowry mentioned it at the Open, I think it was last year, where he said, you just should not be speaking to me yet. You know, I should have 5-10 minutes or whatever. And there is a point. There is a point of that. But do we not want that raw? And it's a fine line, isn't it?
But there was always
they're starting to do it at half time now. They're trying to grab.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. You know, it's terrible.
It's gone the wrong way.
There was always two Monties. There was always two Monties. A Monty in the press conference after he played well, and the other one, and the one when after he played well is hey, everyone's friend, and then a scowl, you know.
Or the one that he won the Ryder Cup. He won every game.
Monty.
I done this and I done that.
The American fans are going to be a massive part of this Ryder Cup, aren't they? And do you think? I mean, I always think back to it might have been Glen Eagles 2014 was the first time in the first tee, and it might have been Bubba possibly said to the crowd, "No, I want you to roar." And
probably.
And I just don't know. I mean, whether is the Ryder Cup getting a wee bit too crazy when it comes to the support? Do you think? Do they need to rein it in a wee bit?
Well, the argument from the Americans is always that they get what we get when they play here. But I'm not having that. I've been at home Ryder Cups and I've never seen European fans abusing American players like we get when we go there.
Support, but
so I'm not having that. I think there's support and they never ever go over the line. But over there,
it's personal.
It's over the line. Unbelievable every day.
Did you ever get anything?
Little bits and pieces where you kind of get it, and I mean some of it's funny, you know, but a lot of it's not funny. And I had obviously. You get paid most weeks to wear a hat or a logo or whatever. At Ryder Cup, you're not getting paid, you're just there. So some of the players wear hats and some don't. So I kind of chose at Medinah the first afternoon when I played, I wouldn't have my hat on, you see. And we were playing and we're getting beat, Peter Hansen and I, and some American guy shouted out from the crowd, Lawrie, your hair is so grey, it's unrepairable. He says to me, and you kind of look at him and you think, so I said to the caddy, give me that hat. So I got and plucked the hat on. So stuff like that is brilliant. But when they're shouting and swearing at you, it's not so brilliant. And maybe the Americans do get that when they come here, but
you don't hear it.
I don't think they do.
There's always been an argument that the golf fans here are slightly maybe more knowledgeable,
maybe
in Scotland.
In Scotland particularly.
But I mean, I've played in 2 away Ryder Cups, and at some point in time, both of those boiled over a little bit. But it's still amazing. Of course. I would never go in the locker room and greet about it or moan about it. I mean, it is what it is. I don't think it ever. You've got to handle it. It's like being a footballer. If you can't be a footballer and play away games, you're never going to. I mean, of course there's not.
I'm sure there was an incident in the last Ryder Cup though among caddies, and Rory was heavily involved. Afterwards, it was all folk almost squaring up.
I know.
And
that's all right. I mean, that's great. Well, if you want to be involved in a team game, that's what happens.
I know, but you don't.
You know, that's what it is.
Do you think you'll ever see a blow struck at the Ryder Cup?
They're starting to do this thing now in America. Is it America? Is it the par 3 and it's a cauldron?
Oh, the stadium, and they've got the bears and all that. I mean,
they've taken
their tops off.
They've taken their tops off. It's incredible. I mean,
I'm old school where I just think that's nonsense. Yeah,
that's a bit of a tour.
And I'm not one of those players that kind of stand still, don't move, don't make a noise. You can't, because that's just. But you got players that do that. But when you're talking about people throwing chairs on the
much.
Listen,
it's a bit much.
Get a grip.
I know, it's a bit much.
Get a grip.
Have you watched Happy Gilmore 2 yet?
No, not yet. No.
You watched it yet?
No.
I was so looking forward to it. I was so looking forward to it. I don't know. I mean, like, it's great because you're getting to see all the top pros trying to act.
I know.
Some of them are brutal. Some are very good. Scottish Sheffler is very good. But the whole, I'm not going to spoil for him who's not watched it. I don't know. I just think they should have left it.
I bet he wins.
No, I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, Frank. But there was a
because obviously through the years you get asked to do bits and pieces and commercials and whatever, and honestly I just find it, hopeless at it. I just can't, and I'd like to think that I'm quite a personable guy and got a few stories and whatever, but when they actually say right action, I kind of just find it so difficult to be normal.
Yeah.
And you just come over, just wouldn't. Well, so anyone that is able to do that.
If you've seen Frank and I try to film an advert for this podcast, take 250.
No, I'm take one. Honestly, I'm always just
I find it so difficult.
249 for this guy. I'm going in one.
Two things we need to speak to, because we're trying to keep it within the hour if we can. I want to talk about your Aberdeen supporting life. I also want to talk about what you're doing with your foundation and so on, you know. And give us a wee chat about that first and what you're up to.
Well, the foundation we started in 2001. We wanted to start it a little bit earlier than that, but it just took a while to kind of get it off the ground. And I when I won the Open, I felt it as though it gave us the opportunity that the kids would have known who I was, whereas before then they might not have. So we kind of started off and off we went. And initially, it was myself, Stuart Spence, who was a hotelier in Aberdeen, who's no longer with us, Martin Gilbert from Aberdeen Asset, and a few other lads that all put the money in to start it. And then when we got bigger, we got more sponsors involved in it. And I just didn't feel we had little kids ourselves, and we didn't feel there was an awful lot on in the area, you know, golf-wise for kids. So it's been going a long, long time. And we're all involved in it. Myself, my wife, my two boys, they work in the foundation. Michael works at the golf centre, and the youngest one, he now runs the foundation and does all the admin on it. So we're all involved in it. We absolutely love it. And the idea of it was never for tour pros to come out of it. It was for memberships of golf clubs, really, to get kids paying to, because the membership rates were coming down at the time, and people were leaving golf. And I thought, right, we need to try and reverse that. But then we had, obviously, David Law came through. He was in the foundation when he was about 12. And he came all the way through and turned pro and won his 5th event on the tour from the foundation. So it wasn't about that. But my wife and I were both sitting crying when he walked. Oh, amazing. To see someone that's come right through from a young age to win on the tour. Amazing to watch him. But it wasn't about that. But when you do get stuff like that, it's just a bonus.
I mean, a cherry in the top.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, it's we enjoy it. We love it. We think we've brought quite a lot of kids into it. We've had an unbelievable amount of help, as you can imagine, because you can't do it on your own. You know, we put our own money into it, which has always been important. But we've had a lot of people who have given us money and sponsors. And we do a dinner. We have a Pro-Am, we have the Paul Lawrie Invitational, and all these things all put money into making sure that the cost of the events is cheap for the adults, because that's what it's about, the parents. Take the cost away from the parents is what it's always been about for us.
Brilliant.
Well, give me a shout for the Pro-Am. Give me a shout and come up and do the tournament.
Yeah, lovely.
I'd love to come up and get involved in
We will do. Thank you.
Yeah,
what age were you when Aberdeen won the Winners' Cup in Gothenburg?
I was there. My father, my brother and I, we were all there. I was 14.
Tell me you were on that ferry where they were all getting
No,
absolute
we flew. Yeah, my old man had a few quid back then. We flew. Yeah.
I sometimes look at the footage of that ferry coming back, and I don't know how many days it took them to come back. And I think Fergie and the players went and meet it. I'm pretty sure. The boys all just came off it like that, absolutely steaming.
I know.
But,
I was 14, so we were there. It was pouring rain.
Supporting them.
Oh, amazing.
Some great players you've seen.
Well, being lucky enough, obviously, because most of them play golf, so I've been lucky enough to meet them all at some point in time. And obviously Willie and Strachan I'm probably kind of closest to and see them more than anyone else. But it's just, they were all Scottish too, that team. Unbelievable how, when you look back now, some of the teams have not got a Scot in them. Never mind the whole team.
Celtic, when they won, it was a Scot or Jock.
All Scots. Amazing.
25 minutes of Celtic.
I know, it's incredible. So, do you meet McDougall, my old pal? God rest him.
I met him a couple of times. He kind of sent me a few messages and I met up with him.
He was good at snooker, golf, everything.
Talented sports guy, Most of them are, aren't they? Most of them are pretty good at all bits and pieces.
I never played golf all through my football career.
Did you not?
No, I never played till after it. I used to go with them and sit in the bar and waiting the boys finishing. But, you know, in that time there was a party going on or something.
Have you guys golfed together yet? Have you played golf with Frank?
No, it was a charity, Trevor.
Yeah, Trevor Much at R. Davidson, his golf day at Gleneagles.
Paul just walked a hole or two, wasn't it?
I beat the pro on the...
that's right, and then we walked over.
What's that, the second? On the Queens.
Second in the Queens,
So, did you get inside me? I can't remember.
Of course I did, yeah.
Did you? I don't know if you did, right.
I don't play beat the pro. I don't play nearest the hole. I play nearest the pin. I play nearest the green.
It's amazing these things because when I do beat the pro, I'm quite a competitive person.
Yes.
So when anyone gets it inside me, I'm raging.
No, I was on the green, but I never beat. I was wayside.
And I had two of them back to back that week. Trevor's was the second one, and the first one I had a Biscalis day, who are great supporters of our foundation. And there was, let's say, 50 odd golfers, and there was about 8 of them got it inside me, and I was so unhappy with myself. But Trevor's one, there was nobody. And I was so happy. It's amazing how he says, listen, the idea is for some of these people to actually.
I've got to be honest with you, Trevor got everyone aside and says, like, don't beat him. He gets annoyed. He gets annoyed.
Right. So, I mean, because that's what you do, isn't it? It's your job. And I mean, you need to maybe slacken up a little bit. But I was quite happy when nobody beat me.
I've got a couple of games coming up with Trevor. We're going to.
He's a good lad.
Good boy.
Really good lad. Good supporter of us.
Yeah.
When it comes to motivational leaders, and obviously Sir Alex Ferguson's right up there, and I'm trying to imagine having someone like Fergie in the Ryder Cup team room, and how that would go down, and does it matter that he's not a golfer? You know.
Well, he was at Gleneagles, wasn't he? Paul McGinley brought him in. To speak to the players one of the nights at Gleneagles, and I think all the players and everyone got so much out of that.
Yeah.
Because whether you're a golfer or not, when you've gone through what he's gone through and had the career that he's had, you can always pass on stuff, can't you?
Sure.
And I mean, Thomas Bjorn's a massive Liverpool fan, as is Darren Clark, and they were both sitting there just living on every word that Sir Alex was saying. So to have him in there was amazing. And I, even though he was the Aberdeen manager, I had never met Sir Alex. And then obviously when I won the Open, he sent me a lovely letter to say that him and his wife, Kathy, had been watching it and whatever, and let me know if you ever want to come to a game or whatever. And then we were at the Sports Personality of the Year Awards that year, and that was the treble team, the Man United treble team. So I was sitting, there was Faldo, Monty and I were invited as the 3 golfers. And the Man United team came in from the furthest away, but came down the stairs, and Monty had said to me, you'll know Sir Alex really well. And I said, well, I've never actually met him. I said I had a letter from him, but I've never met him. Come with me, he says. So he takes me over to introduce me to Paul, how you doing? And chatting away, and he gave me his number, and you just think, wow,
superb,
absolutely amazing. So we've been down a couple of times, and again, I do stuff for him. I was at his golf day at Carrick a few years ago, and then he does stuff for us with the foundation. He came to our dinner one year, and him and I did a Q&A with Richard Gordon, and honestly, you could have heard a pin drop in this place for 2 hours at his Q&A. It's amazing
he's a good
what he's gone through. Amazing.
And that 17-year-old, if you played off 6, none of this would have happened.
I know.
He's back up here now, Fergie. He's back up living here.
Yeah, but he's bought a place, like a flat or something, or an apartment somewhere.
at West End somewhere. 'Cause
right.
his brother's not well, or some Martin's not
Martin.
well. So.
So we'd love to get him in.
Yeah, I'd love to
Richard.
get him in. We'll
Lee,
see.
You're in charge of that. That's your operation.
I'll take a day off that day.
Right, Frank's the
He starts
task.
shouting me again.
Fergie, and you can finally say to him, right,
Yeah.
why did you not start me against
I know.
who
So,
was it?
so you would have been with it when at the
World
Scotland,
Cup, yeah.
96 in
Mexico.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't get him started on that.
Is that not? That's not right. Move on.
Good.
Moving on.
Aye.
Move on,
There's
yeah.
a guy called Paul Sturrock who started instead. You might have heard him, but I don't think Anyway,
Useless.
Listen, you're over it now, you know.
No.
I think the truth is he barricaded Fergie in his bedroom or something the night before.
Oh, shouldn't be so boring. Anyway.
But right, like, when you finish up with prediction time, Beth Page Black, that's not an ex of yours, that's where
I
the
know,
Ryder
that's in
Cup's
New
going.
York, innit? Is it New York?
New York, yeah.
Aye.
That'll be wild.
It will be
that'll
very
wild.
loud.
It's going to be loud. It's going to be, how's Europe looking? Are we in really good, strong position to retain
Well,
it?
yeah, I think every Ryder Cup, the Americans are always kind of favourites on paper, but thankfully you don't play golf on paper or football or whatever. And it's always, I think the European team would always want that. Yeah, I think you'd always want to go in as underdogs and then under the radar, and then boom, off you go, we win again. I think the team looks great. I think both teams obviously look quite strong. But if you were looking at it, I personally fancy Europe to get the job done. But no away team has won. You know, I think it's last time was when we won in Medinah.
Yeah.
So you're 13 years since a European team's won on American soil. So it's
Nice to
you
go
can't be
there.
that flippant about it. It's not something that happens very often. But I fancy our chances. You know, I really do. I really do.
It's
But
going to be
it must
so
be
good.
because of the team game. Because I look at, Taggart was one of the best for me. He was brilliant. He wasn't very. I don't think his record's very good in the Ryder Cup, was it?
No, he wasn't.
You
He
know,
wasn't,
when,
not as
when
good
you're
as
looking,
his.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're
so I'm
going,
sure
he's
if-
so good, and yet you go, oh, it's not very good in the Ryder Cup.
I'm sure
So
that's a great example.
There must be something
Tiger
there.
was asked a question once and he said to the guy... He's
not getting paid or something?
No, he said something like, what was Jack Nicklaus's record? I think he answered, what was Jack Nicklaus's record in the Ryder Cup? And the guy went, don't know. No, do you know? No. Do you know? No. And it was, I think, the point he was trying to make, because...
It's not about that.
It's not about that. People remember me for winning majors. Do they remember my record in the Ryder Cup? Doesn't matter. But for someone like Poulter...
Yeah.
And Monty as well, because Monty
Yeah,
obviously, didn't win a major, but everyone thinks of Monty as one of the great Ryder Cup players. you know, so-
yeah.
But,
Well, I think well, over the years, it's always, I've heard a lot of people say you're judged on the majors you win as a golfer. I've never had anyone say you're judged on your Ryder Cup record.
Yeah.
So there is a point in that. But you obviously want your Ryder Cup record to be good and strong,
Yes.
because
Yeah, of
it's the biggest team event that we play.
Yeah.
Just right out your comfort zone. I love it. It'd be great to be a golfer and then go into a team game.
Yeah.
I was always involved in the team when I
Right,
started playing
right.
football. And
Well, I hit
golf's
the-
brilliant because I'm on my own now.
Yeah, I hit the opening shot in 99, opening tee shot in 99. And you're kind of on the tee, and I'm nervous anyway on the first tee, like I said earlier. And then the boy announced me on the tee, and we're playing foursomes at the time. So it was me and Monty against Mickelson and Duval. And I kind of got the tee in, no bother. And then I struggled to get the ball to sit. And you're just like, wow.
I've been playing this for
I'd
years.
won the Open that summer and felt in total control of what I was doing. And then you get to the Ryder Cup and there's nothing, and you couldn't get the ball on the tee.
What did you do with the shot?
Not bad team.
I hit it. I pushed it a little right, not horrendous, but just in the semi-rough down the right, which I was delighted with. Let me tell you. And I went back to where the caddies and Monty were, and I said to Monty, "Oh, I'm sorry, I kind of pushed that a little bit." And Monty said, "Oh, don't you worry about that." He says, "Wait, you see where he goes." And Mickelson was up next, and he hit this thing 60 yards offline.
Aye.
What a horrendous golf shot.
Yeah.
And you felt straight away, you think,
Monty knew that.
Monty knew that. And I just felt 10 foot tall. And
right.
we beat them, no bother. I
No
mean,
bad, bad to get around with too.
Oh, aye.
And beat them.
Oh, no bother.
Mickelson and Duval. Duval was a player.
He was a player.
Yeah, he fell
A lot
off
of
the
people,
radar a
a
wee
lot of
bit.
people
didn't
Yeah,
don't.
he had
lot
a
of
real
people
tough
don't
spell.
Put him up there. I think he was a wonderful
Oh,
player.
he was world number one for a long time.
I know.
he? He was for a period. He was almost like Scheffler is at the moment for a
Yeah.
he was unbeatable.
He had a good spell.
Yeah. Wow.
that's
So
brilliant.
So what are you doing for that? When are you going to be watching it?
Just watching the house in the golf club maybe.
Are you likely to make? I know you don't like doing media stuff, so you're unlikely to be doing it. Are you?
No, I get offered to do some stuff, and Sky just sent me a message the other day asking if I wanted to do anything, but I just like watching it in the house. I don't miss a shot.
A couple of tins and just
apart from going to the toilet, that's all. I mean, I don't miss a shot.
It's just the best.
Just like any other.
It's the only one I sit down and watch.
It's
for
the
3
only
days.
event that
3
I watch
days,
from
innit?
start
It's
to
only
finish.
3 days, 3 days.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Steady for, I know.
Amazing tournament.
My missus told me apparently we're going to have a wee soiree for the Sunday.
What's the soiree?
If you get
Party.
if you get a friend watch the Sunday,
Am I getting involved in the garden?
Play your cards right, you come round.
A wee barbecue soiree.
Aye. But listen, this is, I think we'll wrap it up there,
Yes.
Paul. This has been fantastic.
Absolute
Thank you
pleasure.
very
Really
much,
enjoyed
Paul.
it. Nice to talk to you.
And getting to hear about the Ryder Cup from inside the ropes and on the first tee.
I know, it's
And,
incredible.
and you're shaking as you're putting the ball in the pen.
Another thing about the first tee, we get on the first tee and Monty and I are there and the referee comes over and he was a fair age, the boy, let's just be honest to say, and so Monty straight away, and then the guy gets his wallet out and he's showing Monty pictures of his grandkids and on the tee. I'm going to wait to hit it in about 2 minutes time. And then the guy says to Monty, because that's what Americans sometimes say, I'm Scotch. And Monty says, that's a drink. You're Scottish, you're not, it's a drink. So he's arguing with the ref. And I'm going to wait to hit it in 30 seconds.
superb.
Honest to God.
Oh, wow.
The best one I've ever seen is the introduction for the guy.
Yeah.
Was with Tiger Woods and Mickelson on the tee.
Right.
The guy's going, Tiger Woods on the tee, winner of this, winner of that, winner of this, winner of that. And Mickelson says, all right.
Enough.
It was going on.
Yeah.
And it broke the ice. The two of them were laughing. They went away and had a game of golf. Brilliant.
Well, we'll find
thank
out.
you.
We'll find out what happens
Yes.
at Bethpage Black fairly soon. But Paul, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
It's been an absolute
Thanks ever
pleasure.
so much, Paul.
And we'll join you again very soon for another episode of Let Me Be Frank. Take care. Speak soon.
Take care.